Well, this is where I left you the last time when I was building the kiln, and tonight I figured, well, I'll show you the progress on it. So here you go. So just to refresh your memories, this is the actual real kiln that we use at the pottery studio where I go. And I took photographs of the labels and the button panel on the front, and I imported into Microsoft Word and then shrunk them down, and I made three different versions of them until I got the right size. Good thing it didn't waste a lot of my colored ink. So there you go. So that's the bigger one is the one that I'm going to use for the actual panel with the digital readout. So this is just regular printer paper. So you can see I've cut them out. So that's the label with the serial number and everything of the kiln on it, which I'm going to put on the side of the kiln. And you can see I should have done a little bit better job of taking the shots straight on. So they are a little bit skewed, but that's okay. I don't think it'll be noticeable once they're on. So you can see because I took it at an angle, it's not quite as square as what it should be, but I think it'll still look fairly decent. And this is the little digital panel where you punch in the numbers of how long you want the kiln to run for, and that's where the temperature is shown and how many hours have gone by. And so you can see I spent some time painting it. So I did paint the little bead on the front, and then I put a little piece of styrofoam inside of it to make it look like a little kiln shelf. And I'll show you the back where I attached the little hinges. Now the top hinges, I had just glued them on with tacky glue in the last video. The tacky glue wasn't strong enough, so I actually sewed it on with silver sewing thread, and that seems to have worked really good on the top of the lid. Because I only used cardstock for the edge of the lid of the kiln, the glue just wasn't enough, so sewing it worked really well. So then I just grabbed out a glue stick. This is just a regular Elmer's glue stick, and I'm just gluing the labels onto it. I think from this angle you can see quite well that the little blue piece of plastic that used to be a mailbox is not quite as straight as what I would like it to be, but it seems to be such a perfect match. And I think once it's inside of the room box, it won't be quite as noticeable, but you can see that it didn't line up quite square. And that's mostly because the mailbox is square, and of course the can is round, so I can't expect exact perfection. And then I glued on the bottom half of the hinge onto a few pieces of paper because the tin indented, and I used that E6000 glue to glue the bottom hinges on. And it did take a full 24 hours to dry. That's why I haven't been back at this. So then I took out my tester silver paint and I painted over the paper on the back. And then I permanently glued in with tacky glue 3 pieces of pottery just to give it a little bit more realism. I mean, it doesn't look exactly like the kiln that we use at the pottery studio, but pretty darn close. So, and now I got to figure out a place to put it. So I'm just kind of shifting things around a little bit inside of the room box, and I don't know why, but I initially thought I would put it here in the right-hand corner, which is ridiculous because then when you open the door, there would be no space for anybody to walk in. So I've got yet to figure out where everything's going to go, like the final placement of all of the pieces inside of this room box. I purposely made this kiln big because the one at our pottery studio where I go to is just absolutely humongous. So I couldn't make it really, really tiny because it just wouldn't be in scale, and you have to be able to put the actual pottery inside it. So doing a smaller kiln would have just looked really super odd. So that's why I decided to do it with this size of can. So, and I mean, compared to like, say, a Campbell soup can, this can is like less than half the size of a Campbell soup can. So, if that kind of puts it in perspective. So, I've got it sitting right there where when you open the pottery studio door, you wouldn't be able to walk in. So I switched it over to this side. But even that's not quite right yet. So gonna have to put some more thought into it. And once again, there's a lot more stuff has to be done with this little room box. I mean, it still doesn't have any lighting, and I still have other things that I have to add to it, like a wall clock, and yeah, so, and then this shelf that's here, or the drying rack, I guess I'll call it. It keeps on tipping over, and I'm not sure that that should be the permanent location for it either. So, yeah, still got some thoughts. So if you want to share any comments and let me know what you think I should do next. Well, thank you very much for watching today's video. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. Hit that like button and tell your friends about my videos. And yeah, I've still got some work to do to this little room box, but I think it'll be really cool once it's done. I mean, it certainly is starting to take shape for sure. Okay, well, thanks again, and have the best day ever.